How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of Frankenstein. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. Well, we've warned you.
You have been warned. You're listening to the Frankenstein Minute, where we dissect the Universal Frankenstein films minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Tom Lang, and this is Minute 10. We're 10 minutes into 1931's Frankenstein. And it's,
How many months?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It should take that long.
It
You
should.
shouldn't just take 10 minutes to get through 10 minutes of Frankenstein.
No, absolutely not. There's a lot of stuff here, as we've discovered. Chaska alone took up an entire episode.
That's right. That's right. We're learning all kinds of cool stuff.
We are.
So I see a continuity error in this. Do you see did you notice all right, let me tell you about the continuity error in this. When Fritz is in, I wouldn't say close up, medium close up. He's got his walking stick in his hand.
Right.
Then he stumbles across the room to pick something up, and I believe it's
I
his
think
walking
it's a stick. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's a continuity error in my mind.
Yeah, because, the previous minute, the wide shot, when he comes down,
Yeah.
he approaches the camera to the left and
Yeah.
then goes over. It's not clear, because I saw that too. And I was wondering, well, maybe he set his walking stick on a desk or something.
Right.
And then went over to the brain, but it's not clear.
Well, I don't
think
see him
I don't
set
think
it down.
he does. I don't
but,
think he does.
He's definitely holding it in the
In the-
previous shot.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
The other continuity error, which we discussed briefly in the previous minute, is the writing on the label on the jar is different.
Right.
The words "abnormal brain"
Are
were
scribbled
were
by
like
Fritz.
like a grease
Hastily
pencil
scribbled.
on there versus neatly typed when
Yeah.
Waldman was talking about them.
Actually, that'd be kind of a neat little thing if it was neatly typed, and then Fritz just got a new label. It's like using whiteout. You get AB, just AB. But what's this about dysfunctio cerebri? I didn't.
You just told me to get a brain.
God.
Split hairs.
First, you send me up the gibbet, even though I clearly
Clearly didn't want to.
told you this is not cool.
Now
you're
you're
gonna
riding
complain.
my ass about it.
Riding my ass about the brain. It's a brain, okay?
Dude, I got your brain. What more do you want?
It's a human brain. Come on, I
It
could
is.
have got a dog brain.
Well, that's interesting because in the novel,
Oh boy.
here we go, he references where he gets his parts from anatomy schools, from the mortuaries, from Charnel House.
Sure.
Which, do you know what those are?
Is it a place where you kill people? And,
No, it was a place where they would store the remains sometimes.
Oh, not a.
It's not a slaughterhouse.
Not a slaughterhouse,
but
then.
He also references that he got some parts from slaughterhouses. So in the novel, there's some animal tissue in
Well,
the,
I
in
know
this
a
creature.
guy that had open heart surgery, and they put part of a pig heart in him.
Yeah, I've
that
had-
happens all the time.
Yeah,
So maybe it was the heart.
pig's heart. Yep.
Pig's heart.
Yep.
I
Yeah, I
would
know a guy
guess
has
that
a,
the monster
has a pig
heart.
valve. Yeah.
Yeah. Went bad on him. He
Did
just had
it?
to have it replaced.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Be careful, folks.
We will. And later on, when we get to the laboratory, we'll talk about what that inspired, what medical marvel that sequence inspired.
Oh my goodness.
So stay tuned for,
Wow.
in about a year, we'll get to that.
I can't wait.
You see? And
See.
it's here in Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
A local.
A local boy makes
Not-
good. Not just
Chaska?
Edward. Not Chaska.
Edward Van Sloan
Edward-
didn't leave Hollywood and maybe was inspired
Maybe,
by
yeah, might have been.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Nope,
That
no.
didn't-
all right.
Apparently that wasn't it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So there's a lot of screen time devoted to this.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting because we've now talked about this at length for
Yeah.
weeks about this movie. Whale devotes a lot of screen time to grisly shit,
Yeah.
and this is grisly shit.
It is.
He's stealing brains.
Slops a brain on the floor.
Yeah.
It's full of glass. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been to the grave.
The
We've been to
cemetery,
the gibbet.
gibbet,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all grisly shit, and
yeah.
he's not
He's not really-
cutting away.
No, he's not pulling punches. And I know that there was stuff they had to pull back on, but he pushed the envelope as far as he could
Yeah.
with this sort of material.
And it's part of the reason why we're able to talk about it minute by minute is because it's all great. Yeah, he's pushing that envelope.
Well,
definitely.
this was the Jaws of its day.
Yeah.
In terms of, or The Exorcist, more like, of its day, pushing that envelope of what audiences will accept, what audiences could, stand.
Right.
And there's stories. I'm sure most of it's bullshit from the PR department at Universal. That's their job. People fainting and nurses on duty and ambulances out front and, people not being able to sleep and all that. And it's hard to imagine what seems, nowadays like a fairly harmless movie having that huge an impact. But you have to look at film history. Nothing like this had been made.
Yeah.
This is the first movie, and I think Christopher Frayling says this in his commentary, but I've thought it before too, is that this is the first film that set out to be a horror film.
Right.
We're going to scare the shit out of you.
There's you have to think some of that is true about Dracula. The first 20 minutes of Dracula are scary.
Yeah. It wasn't promoted that way. It was the greatest romance or the weirdest romance.
The weirdest romance, yeah.
It downplayed a lot of the horror, I think.
Yeah.
And certainly once they get to London, there's none.
I don't know. I would tend to, I think I'm here to defend Dracula. after we trashed it
the last 8 weeks or
whatever.
Right,
yeah. It's a horror film, absolutely. There's
it is.
It's just you know what it is? It's now here I'm going to say it. It's just inept. That's all.
Right, thank you.
Other than that, I think it's trying to do horror. I think it is a significant point. I think we obviously covered this, but that last shot of Edward Van Sloan saying there are such things. They're trying to scare you. Yeah. I think a little. Yeah. But it's also a stage play that looks like a stage play.
Yeah, and
Spanish version is a horror film.
Spanish version is excellent by comparison, yes.
Yeah.
So that puts the lie, and I think a lot of what Whale does here too, puts the lie to the old excuse that people make for Dracula. Oh, well, it was an early talkie, and everything was so crude, and yada yada yada. And I don't buy it for a second.
Oh yeah, that's what's great about this film and its position in history is it absolutely wipes out any of that talk.
Yeah,
because this is 6 months later.
6 months later, and not like they made
not even
huge.
You got to think when it came out, they were already making this, or were they starting to?
They were starting to. Well, no, Dracula came out in the middle of February, and the receipts were starting to come in by the end of the month. So early March is when they started to.
When we had already thought about Frankenstein because they share that history. They're both.
Well, it's sort of the yin yang of
they share that whatever moment in history of we're gonna make Dracula, and then the thought would make Frankenstein. So then when the receipts come in, exactly. Frankenstein Dracula's a big hit.
We're onto something here, and
kind of interesting that they threw it to James Whale, but
they didn't throw it to James Whale.
Well, no, they didn't throw it to him, but I mean that they trusted James Whale to do it.
Well, he was at a point at Universal where he could do no wrong.
Yep.
They'd made huge money off of Waterloo Bridge, and he had made huge money for
Never
Tiffany.
Seen it.
Mae Clark she'll tear your heart out.
Mae Clark?
Mae Clark is amazing.
I think
Waterloo
we'll talk
Bridge.
about Mae Clark later this minute.
We just might. And Journey's End for Tiffany, which is where Colin Clive was brought to prominence.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before, how pretty much Whale stole this from Robert Florey.
Yeah.
But we're thankful that he did. Yeah, it was probably a shitty thing to do. It was really shitty for him to not get any credit in the screenplay because a lot of his stuff was used.
And we also, again, we're covering old ground, but he is credited on movie posters in Europe?
Some posters in Europe.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I guess.
Better than I got.
I didn't get shit. I don't know about you.
Nothing.
I keep looking for that check from Universal, and I don't get anything.
That's not happening.
No.
So this abnormal brain, he's a brutal, violent murderer.
Yeah.
So why is this in the film? This is the thing. This is my theory about that.
Oh yeah, right.
So Whale's monster and the treatment of the monster by society in this film, but also more prominently in Bride of Frankenstein, is a metaphor for homosexuality. This isn't the monster's not gay.
No.
And it's probably a metaphor for any number of things.
The outsider.
Yeah. But specifically, if you look at Whale as you say, an openly gay man, and apply it to that, and you assume is making a film about that in particular, it would not be outside of the realm of possibility for someone in 1931 to think that a gay person has an abnormal brain. So
True.
What you end up with is a film in which someone is unfairly maligned due to forces beyond his own control. He didn't ask to be created. And he's even cursed with an abnormal brain. Like you say he's a brutal, violent murderer, but we also know it isn't that simple, right? That isn't how it actually works.
Right.
So I'm tempted to think that Whale looks at that and either thinks that deliberately or maybe even not deliberately thinks.
So it's just a subconscious thing?
Yeah, this is just one more thing to load this character.
This poor guy gets...
Because this movie is about a character, and the character, in my opinion, isn't Frankenstein, right? It's the monster. And this is, right now, in this scene, we're loading him down with some baggage. That's not his fault.
True.
So, I don't know.
It's the famous quote that opens the novel from Paradise Lost. Did I ask the maker from my clay to make me man?
But you're guilty because you got an abnormal brain.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about being gay, that's perfectly true.
That's true.
Right? Absolutely.
Right.
You are guilty for having an abnormal brain. I'm like, geez, I didn't even do anything.
I didn't do anything, yeah.
Yeah.
And sadly, some of that persists to this day.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Probably. Let's hope no one listening to this podcast is thinking,
thinks
he's right.
You say.
That's a good idea. I haven't thought about putting that on my sign to go to protest.
You're onto something there.
You just have abnormal brains.
That's all.
Who were those people called that protested gay funerals?
The some Baptist.
Right, Westboro Baptist. Some Westboro Baptist church guys. Like,
so if you're listening,
because we got a lot of. We've already seen the numbers. The downloads from Westboro Baptist Church are through the roof. We can't pretend that's not an important part of our audience. All right.
These homophobic nut jobs are
those are our fans.
Huge Frankenstein fans.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. We'll take what we can.
Download's a download, right?
A download's a download. I can't change it. I can't change this.
I'm not arguing.
Okay, so that's all I have for Goldstadt Medical College.
Yeah, I guess the other is he does the same sort of crisscross zigzaggy thing when he leaves.
Yeah, he can't. Are the desks okay? So are the desks lower down, butted up against the wall, and we can't tell? So he has to go around them.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's the only thing I can tell.
It's possible, but he
moves. He's just a nut.
When he comes down in the previous minute, he does move some out of the
true.
way
he
to
just
get down.
Scoots him. That's a good point.
So,
no, that ain't it then.
Yeah.
But yes, he's all over the place.
He's Fritz. Fritz is a little
thing.
out there.
Yeah. He seems very what's the word? Just, skilled or competent when he's cutting that corpse down off the gibbet. We'll give him that.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's a bit of a weirdo.
Just a bit of
Get down. What's the matter with you?
Where else are you going to find somebody? Where do how do you hire somebody like that?
That's true.
How does Henry hook up?
Classified ad.
Yeah, it's Craigslist. Looking
for.
How did
Henry
hook up with this guy? That's what I've always wondered.
It's something that you're not. Yeah, we're not the first people to think of that. I'm sure.
I'm
it's
not.
odd that these two ended up together.
Yeah, but again, who else would you get?
Yeah.
To do this sort of stuff?
Well, I assume they were having an affair.
He is
sexy.
No.
Well, he's got a style.
He's got his.
Henry's got a type.
Yeah, I guess.
Mae Clark and Dwight Fry.
You completely made me forget what I was going to say.
How did they get hooked up? You said I don't know.
Well, it takes a certain type of person that's going to do this sort of thing. You don't just approach anybody.
Yeah.
Certainly,
I think that about people today, though.
Yeah.
When I hear that two or more people have engaged in something that I find completely abhorrent, and it's on the news right now. If we turned it on, there's some jackass that does something horrible, and you're like, how did he convince her to go along? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these people do find each other.
They
God
do.
knows how.
What's that?
Our podcast fans, I think we'll have a little group together.
They'll all find each other. What's that Rule 34? You've heard that, right?
Mm-mm.
It's some meme about if it exists, there's porn for it. Okay. And I think that applies to,
It applies to grave robbing.
If you need to find someone to do grave robbing and brain stealing.
Brain stealing.
He's out there.
Yep.
He's out there. Well, certainly by the time we get to the sequel and we get to Carl,
For some reason, that one's easier to me because it's because you got Dr. Pretorius.
Pretorius.
Presumably,
these are guys,
he found Carr. Well,
these
he
are
does,
guys.
in fact. Yeah,
these are guys that work for Pretorius.
That's easier to picture.
Yes.
But then again, I've said it already about Henry. We're watching Henry at a low point here, I think.
Well, I mean,
he's gotten into a bad place.
He's hung around with a bad crowd at college.
Yep.
Hooked up with the wrong kind of people.
Goldstadt shit college.
Yep. He was in the wrong fraternity, I think.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, so then he leaves.
He leaves in his usual weird zigzaggy way.
the Fritz path.
Fritz. Well, we'll see it later. He does some very eccentric sort of things.
Yeah, while just trying to walk from here to there.
Yeah.
And that's Whale indulging. Well, I was going to say indulging him, but he's probably asking him to do it. Don't just walk in a straight line.
I think it's indulging him to a degree, but it's indulging the character to give him some more color.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, everybody in the Flory script is extremely one-dimensional. Nobody has any personality. And the flip side is, Whale makes sure everybody has. Every little character is slopping over with something.
Even the lady with the pencil.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah,
right?
kind of. Yeah. I mean,
turn around.
Yeah,
jackass.
Yeah. It's not essential to telling the story, but it sort of flavors the stew.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of flavorless, we get to Victor Moritz.
Well, first thing we see is 3 close-ups.
Yeah, it's a crossfade, and then we fade.
First thing we see is Henry.
Right.
So now we have a photograph. So we've got photographs.
Yep.
X-rays.
Yeah.
This movie's more modern than
right.
1931. I mean, this is like 1967 now.
Stuff that doesn't exist in the 30s.
Whale invented some of this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a photograph.
It is a
photograph. Are we
photograph.
supposed to expect? Okay, so we're not expecting that someone drew Henry and she sketched him.
Well, they used to do little portrait things like that.
I suppose. And it's shadowy, and he looks grim.
Yep.
It matches.
That's
Henry.
That's
right
Henry.
there.
Yeah, it sums him up. It's probably
Couldn't you get him to smile? No.
No.
He's never smiled.
It's probably just Colin Clive's headshot.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Well, and later you talk about it. There's the little when the Baron is presenting the orange blossoms. There's also a photograph of he and his bride.
I don't remember this.
Well, we'll get to it.
All right. Yeah, we certainly will in about a
so.
year and a half. Yeah. God. No. Yeah. Well,
it's a ways.
It's a ways out.
Yep. So yeah, it's a photograph of Henry. Then it cuts to the close-up of the maid.
And she says her Victor Moritz, because she is not German.
No.
She's not Germanic. She's not British. The only thing, the only thing that I kind of like about it is he is her Victor Moritz.
Well, maybe it was on purpose, but I doubt it.
I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't either.
But it's what I got.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's terrible.
You find a lot of that.
2 seconds of screen time.
No,
she's great at the end.
She's
or near the end. She's my
better
favorite.
later on.
Yeah. She does. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. This is funny. We're analyzing this minute by minute, but now we're going like basically second by second. So if you haven't seen this minute, we're not describing it well. The 3 close-ups are
very quick,
like maybe a second and a half.
Yeah,
it goes Henry, maid, and she says her Victor
Morris,
and then
there's a jump cut out of continuity.
Yes. To Victor Morris
coming through
presumably
the same door.
coming through the same door, unless she's across the room announcing it. Yeah. And then another close-up
of May Clark as Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Who stands up, and then we cut to the wide shot.
Finally, we get the wide shot. So what you've got is, Whale's introduction to the scene for you is, here are the people in this scene. Mm-hmm. It's odd, obviously, to not start with the wide shot.
Right.
So what he's saying is, this is what you care about. Here are the people in this scene. Yeah. And you don't even care where they are. So by the time you get to the wide shot, it occurred to me watching it for this minute, it's like, where are they actually?
Yeah.
Presumably they're at her house?
Well, you would think so, but later on it's his house.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the same house that the wedding is taking place.
Yeah, well, they're right.
Because then
when you say his house, not Victor's house.
Not Victor's house,
right.
Not Henry's house, not Victor's house, the Baron's house. It's the Frankenstein estate.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
But why she's in the novel, she is sort of raised, depending on which version you read, as his sister or as his cousin.
Oof.
So it's a little weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
More creepy shit.
She's not by birth, but that's how she's raised.
Okay. Whale had no time for that. I'm just thinking about Whale's movies and thinking
so much stuff jettisoned.
He doesn't do any of that business. There's no incest
but
in a Whale movie.
That's why she was there.
Old Dark House has plenty of opportunities for it.
All
no incest.
Crazy in there,
all kinds of crazy, but no incest.
No, that's why she would be there.
And so that's where she is.
She's later on. I mean, unless they have identical houses, in the following minute they'll go out into the hallway, and it's the same hallway where they're all running around at the end of the movie, like Keystone Cops. But
they're all running around.
Yeah, all running around all crazy. Acting
I like
a fool.
This. Yeah, not like this scene where it's where it's calm and we get to watch. This is more my speed. We get to watch calm.
Yep.
Okay, so John Bowles enters.
He enters.
This is John Bowles.
This is John Bowles.
Is he American? I mean, is Victor Moritz, is his accent American? Because he seems kind of American to me.
The actor is, but I
think the character's accent is American.
Yeah, there was no
Unlike
effort.
Mae Clark, Colin Clive.
Well, Mae Clark is American as well.
Right, but she's
adopted a slight English accent.
Right.
Where I don't know if John Bowles could.
Yeah, that's true.
He's apparently he was a great singer.
Right. He was a huge star.
Yes.
His star on the Hollywood Hall of Fame is at 6530 Hollywood Boulevard. I think that's significant. He had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Right.
Not because he was in Frankenstein.
No, not at all.
If you look him up on Wikipedia, I'm sure the first line is, he's from Frankenstein.
Known for Frankenstein.
Known for Frankenstein. We did the credits already. He's above, he's below Colin Clive. Was that it? Or is he below Mae Clark?
I think he's third.
Okay, yeah, he's third.
Yeah.
As we're going to see in this film,
yeah,
completely undeservedly. He should be fifth, I think.
He should, yeah. I mean, Van Sloan, Dwight Fry, they should all be above him.
Oh, well then he should be sixth.
He should be
So it
sixth.
should be Clive. Okay, it should be Clive. Well, it should be question mark.
Question mark.
Number 1.
Clive.
Clive number 2.
Mae Clark.
And then, maybe actually Van Sloan and Fry might be a tie for third and
but
fourth.
by tradition.
Oh, but Fry doesn't last very long. Yeah,
By tradition.
Either way,
Mae Clark should
we can agree on the top 5,
right?
And that he should be number 6.
He should be number 6. Definitely.
And he's got a Hollywood. He's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He was a silent film star that could sing really well.
Yes.
Which seems not helpful.
Not here.
Certainly not in this
not in this film, but certainly not as a silent film star.
Right. But presumably there's footage of him singing?
Oh, yeah. He made quite a few musicals.
Talkies, singies.
Yeah, singies. But, if he's remembered at all, it's for this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't reflect real well on him.
No.
As a result.
No.
I think he's in the top echelon of the performers in this film. He is the weakest link.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. So we talked about his billing being 6th. The Baron might be. Yeah. Baron's more interesting.
Baron's far more
Burgermeister's more
fun. Yeah.
I mean, you got to go way down.
Ludwig, the father of the little girl, is more interesting.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. And then there's the little girl for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bowles is completely useless.
This character is he's Mr. Exposition mainly.
Yeah.
Certainly, he disappears for the last 10, 15 minutes of the film.
That's what I'm thinking. Where is he even? He's there.
He's
you
there.
see him. He's there. He's the best man.
He's the best man, and Henry. Like,
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Henry's like, if anything happens to me, you take care of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
In other words, she's yours. And we'll find out in the next minute that that's not completely unwarranted.
Not to skip ahead, but in this minute itself, actually, he says, "What is it? I came as soon as I could," and she says something like, "I've heard from Henry," and he's like, you see his face in the next one. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about Henry."
No,
okay.
Great.
But honestly, that's me adding it because really, he's just a stone. He's useless.
He's a slab of beef.
He's a slab of beef. Yeah. He's worthless. Yeah.
Well, a little bit to his defense is that the character itself is staggeringly uninteresting.
So what have we been talking about for 9 minutes is how Whale doesn't do that. Like he gives everybody all kinds of great shit to do.
Yeah.
Whale. So this is, I guess, maybe to be more specific. And again, I said it probably this minute, if not the last minute. Yeah, it was this minute. We just said it a second ago.
Yeah.
We linger on Fry walking out walking out the same path that he took in.
Yeah.
Because it's grisly and it's interesting and it's creepy and it's shadowy.
Yeah.
And then John Bowles showed up for work and Whale was like, "Can you just stand over there, please? Are you the extra? It doesn't matter."
Well, I believe he was one of the performers he inherited from
that's interesting.
the Flory regime. Elizabeth was going to be Betty Davis.
Oh yeah, I'd heard that.
And apparently Junior
probably
Lemley,
heard it from you in an earlier minute.
Yeah, probably. Junior Lemley didn't think she had any sex appeal at all, so
he certainly did think that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Whale would have stuck with her anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I think he would have gone with Mae Clarke because he had worked with her a couple times before, really liked her. Did Waterloo Bridge, find it, watch it, she's amazing.
And I'm just looking at the leading ladies in Whale's films, and his style doesn't seem to be one. He probably agreed with Lemley that Betty Davis had no sex appeal.
No.
She's not a standard Hollywood leading lady.
Not,
she's not
conventionally
conventional. That's the word. Conventionally attractive. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at like Gloria Stewart,
right?
Valerie Hobson,
Gloria Stewart a couple times.
Yeah. Anyway,
so Bowles, he's just okay. So that I guess we kind of covered.
But all we really need to say about
he was a good bowler. No, that's not true. His name is a sentence. John Bowles.
John Bowles.
That's how fucking boring he is.
That's all we got, folks. It isn't going to get any better from here.
He's still in the movie.
He's still there.
You might have missed him.
Well, he does stuff.
Yep.
Later on.
That's true. He does.
He does stuff, but he doesn't do it in an interesting way.
Right.
And that could be on purpose on Whale's part.
Yeah.
As he is just exposition and he knows it.
Yeah. Well, he does play a role later. I'm picturing Sit Down. You know, he's not doing anything interesting in that scene, but he is playing a role. He is. Well, we're at the beginning of it now.
Right.
What is he doing? He's I don't want to skip ahead.
Yeah.
But his role is starting now. His role is to be a quote unquote friend to Elizabeth.
Elizabeth
going through a tough time.
I get it. I get the impression that he's closer to her than he is to Henry. Has been all along.
I agree. That's a good point. I agree with that. Yeah,
I get that impression from this anyway.
Yeah, but like you said, when Henry says what he says later, we should probably talk about that later.
Well,
we'll forget all of this.
We'll forget all this. I forgot what we did last minute. So
yeah, true. I wasn't sure about what we did this for a minute there. All right, so John Bowles has a role.
Yeah,
it's good that he's in it.
The character plays a
he's
part.
Meat.
He is. He plays a part within the story. He's not superfluous necessarily.
Right, he's not superfluous.
That's
your review.
That's the faint
not
praise.
Not superfluous. Cool. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going with it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
that'd be like. By the way, if we haven't said, people, listeners, if you could go to iTunes and give us a rating, if you could write a review like not superfluous, that would really help us out a lot.
Yeah, that'd be outstanding.
Not superfluous. 2 stars.
I want that on my grave marker. Are you kidding?
Or on your star on the Walk of Hollywood fame.
Yes.
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Not superfluous.
Not superfluous.
Well, and how the scene is directed, we talked about. It starts with these close-ups, and then we cut to the wide shot of this magnificent set again.
Yep. Again, bigger than it needs to.
Huge. It's got a ceiling, which is unusual. I believe that's a matte painting.
Just going to say, Citizen Kane. Certainly the opposite of Citizen Kane in the sense that when you watch those scenes in Citizen Kane, once someone points out to you to look for the ceilings, you're like, those ceilings are 6'1".
Yeah.
They're so, they're right in your face.
It's the same in Maltese Falcon.
I noticed the ceilings.
Well, they did, and I don't know if they're deliberately lower as much.
Terrible.
You haven't seen the Maltese Falcon?
I'm sorry, it's right over here.
I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah, I understand. I forgive you.
All right.
I don't have it up there, do I?
What is?
Oh, it would be down here.
What is the matter?
All right, I'm gonna have to see if I can find.
See, this is fascinating for you listening at home.
The Maltese Falcon. All right, here it is. I'll pull it out. I'll watch it.
All right.
Maltese Falcon.
Had I known before getting into this that you hadn't seen that, I might have rethought this whole thing.
True. If you knew how many holes there are in my, like how many times I've seen, Indiana Jones and have never seen. Okay, all right.
Anyway,
ceilings.
Ceilings.
Yeah, this is a tall ceiling.
It's a tall,
how tall
big
is the ceiling?
Set. It looks like
20. feet.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a gigantic castle they live in.
Yeah, you know, and there's like coats of arms running around the top of the room and
tapestries.
It's these are some people with some money. Universal spent some money on this because it's a great set.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
For something that probably doesn't matter all that much ultimately. It matters so little that we start the scene with 4 close-ups.
4 close-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they do the cut, when he does the cut to the wide shot, it's
an establishing
it draws attention to how big this room is.
Yeah.
And how small the characters are in it. I mean, there's nothing comparable in Dracula where is nothing but scenes
nothing
like
on purpose.
No, that's for sure. Nothing like this. Directed like this, where there's all these scenes of people talking. You know, the middle 2/4 of it, the half in the middle is nothing but people talking in a room, and none of it is
yeah. You've actually got Dracula turning into a wolf,
off camera.
And somebody says,
"Hey,
look at that!
There's
a wolf!
You guys see that?
Did you guys see that? That's a bad sign for your movie.
Yeah.
The script just says, did you guys see that? No, I didn't.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks,
all right,
David Manners. I didn't see that.
Another one, David Manners.
David Manners.
John Boles is in the style. Actually,
David Manners
I like better.
Is more interesting than
John
Boles,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Actually, David Manners. This guy makes David Manners
look like Humphrey Bogart.
There you go. Exactly. John Boles makes David Manners look like Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
That's the quote.
So they've got this. She's got this letter from Henry.
Yeah, so this is, I wanted to say something. This is Mae Clarke. Have we talked enough about Mae Clarke? Because I think is interesting.
We talked about her a little bit when we talked the credits, but go ahead.
The one thing I think is interesting about Mae Clarke is this is her second most famous role. So that's not true of anybody
that's right.
in this film.
No.
And maybe in any of the, well, no, it would be true later in other films.
Yeah.
But her most famous role is a scene.
One single moment.
One single moment in cinema history.
Yeah.
Where I can't think of his name.
James Cagney.
James Cagney.
Public Enemy.
Yes.
Yes. Pushes the grapefruit in her face.
Puts a grapefruit in her face. This is terrible. It's awful. It's an awful thing that's happened.
Right.
But it is, in its defense, showing you someone doing something awful.
Yes.
And that's what she's probably most famous for.
Best known for that. I'm sure this comes second.
For having a grapefruit smashed in her face.
And apparently she didn't know that was coming.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was, he I don't know if Michael Curtiz told him to do it or, someone might know more than I do.
Seems like you get a lot of stories like that in movies where people are like, well, the best way to get a reaction out of this lump of meat is to not tell her.
Yeah. I don't think she's a lump of meat. I think she's actually.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply that I thought she was. Just that directors look at actors that way.
Yes.
Yeah. No, John Boles is a lump
of meat.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. No, I think Mae Clarke does it. With what she's given here, and the character is much more.
She's not bad.
No, the character is much more interesting
she's
here.
Not great, but she's not. Yeah. Oh, than in Bride.
I think she's better than Valerie Hobson in Bride.
Yeah.
But she's more interesting in the film than in either of the scripts that I've read.
Okay.
So she brought something to it, and Whale brought something out of her as well.
So what we're getting about this is where Henry is.
Yeah.
In a way.
Right.
That's all she's. Okay. So what do you call that? The Bechdel test. Have you heard of this? Where
whether she's a feminist character.
Does a woman have a character? Does a woman? Well, it's a test of a film. Does it even have a woman in it? It might be part of it. But does the character talk to another woman? And if so, do they talk about anything about a man? Yeah. So it's even Bechdel, I think, has said if she had it to do over again, she would have changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's what we've got.
Right.
And she fails.
Because
fails. That's her entire role in this film.
Yeah.
But so having said that, it's unfortunate and we're not happy about it. But having said that, she does occupy that role, and it is important to give that perspective on where Henry's at because he's really messed up.
He's
in trouble.
He's been gone for quite some time. We gather they don't specify.
They do specify. Well, I don't get it. They don't specify how long she's been gone, but I do think it's interesting. She says it's the first word in 4 months.
Yeah.
So where is he?
Right.
Isn't he just down the road? I mean,
no.
Has he really been off Facebook for 4 months?
He has. He's off the grid.
It's off the grid.
Yep.
So where is he?
Tweeted. He hasn't. Yeah.
Well, he probably tweeted.
It's interesting because in the shooting script they indicate that where Waldman is in Goldstadt is not where they are at the Frankenstein estate, and not where Henry is. There's an indication that there's some geography in between.
Okay.
You don't really get that from the finished film. Everything seems like it's
nobody gets on a in a horse-drawn carriage to go to visit. You don't see it.
Right.
Which I guess you often do.
You often do.
You see it in Dracula, they're in a horse-drawn carriage.
You see it in Young
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, they're in a horse-drawn carriage. And Dracula.
House of Frankenstein.
Multiple times, yeah. House of Frankenstein's mostly that.
Mostly
That's
that.
a road movie.
Yeah, it is.
That'll be fun. We'll have a lot of fun with that one because minute by minute that one is a different movie.
Oh yeah, it is.
That'll be great.
Yeah, it's
and
very...
House of Dracula will be fun for me. I feel like I like that one.
I just watched the whole run.
Yeah.
This past
okay.
week.
And you're with me. Ghost of Frankenstein's like, it's fine.
It's there. We'll watch it.
It's not the worst movie.
No, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
We might have to find some other shit to talk about.
Well, we got Lionel Atwill. There's plenty to talk about with him.
That's a good point. There's always There's no Lionel Atwill in this film.
There is not.
That's unique among Frankenstein films. No, not unique. He's not in Bride either.
Not in Bride either. But beyond that, he's in all the rest.
Is he in House of Dracula?
Yeah.
It's probably not in Abbott and Costello.
No.
He's in House of Dracula?
He's in House of Dracula.
Oh. I haven't seen it for a couple weeks. That's how lame I am.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so now we've really gotten off the track.
We have.
So you were talking about the distance. So you're saying in the script it's sort of specified?
It's specified that it's a ways to go to talk to Waldman. It's a ways to go to find Henry at this
So they go on a journey.
They go on a journey. It's not right next door.
Okay,
the film makes it seem like everything is close together.
It really does. Yeah. Not just because you don't see the journey, but we'll get to it later, I guess. They don't just do that. They then go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then back again. There's a lot of back and forth.
Right.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, there is.
I hadn't really thought about it because I think about Frankenstein movies with a lot of back and forth, I think of Son of Frankenstein, where it's just like, why are you going back and forth? Like you got characters who are like, wait a minute, I'll run off this way.
Yeah.
But this movie, okay, all right. So he's far away.
Yeah.
And there's no phones.
No lights, no motor cars. There's not a single luxury. Sorry.
I'm just ashamed how long it took me to realize what you were doing.
not half as ashamed as I am for having said
that. That's fair. That's fair. All right, so Henry is far away.
Henry's
4 months
away.
since 4 months since she's
heard from him.
Then
that doesn't
you
mean
assume he's either dead. 4 months.
That doesn't mean that's how long he's been gone. That's just how long she's heard from him.
Yeah. So you had said that earlier, so it's even longer. It's clearly a lot much longer.
I get the impression that it's much longer.
So he's been gone for a year.
It takes a while to put these things together. I mean, look at all that. Look at all the stuff that's in his lab. I mean, that takes some work.
That's true. He's got to.
You got to order that stuff.
Order that.
He's got to.
Does Amazon deliver to the?
It's not
windmill.
Amazon
It's not
now.
in the windmill, but.
It's not Amazon now. You don't get it in 2 hours, I'm sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Amazon now. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So it's all adding up. But she's greatly concerned because now she has heard
from him. And it's interesting because in the script, the letter's from Waldman, not Henry.
Oh, that's different. That's really different.
Yeah. She reads the salutation at this.
You know what she does say before this minute's up is the word wait. And it's punctuated by the fact that we're splitting this minute by minute.
Right.
She doesn't even get it all the way out.
Barely gets it out.
And then it's gone. But even when she's saying it, I remember when you listen to it in context, it seems odd that he just sort of says, wait. Like it's not like the next minute's going to start with, for me to finish. It's just the word wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Like, he's not sweet. Henry's not sweet.
Oh, no,
to Elizabeth.
He's not. He doesn't. Full of flowery, gushing sentiments or
that's right.
declarations of love here. It's, I'm busy.
Wait. He's not mean. He's not.
No, he's not abrupt. But I mean,
yeah,
he's obsessed. He's
obsessed.
Yeah,
he thought to write.
He did at least think to write. And
maybe
Fritz is like, hey,
you don't want them banging on the door on the wrong night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and maybe had he written more, they wouldn't have shown up.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's another woman, personally.
Do you?
Yeah, that's my thought.
You're not the only one.
It is another woman.
It is.
I'm going to find her.
You're right.
All right.
Yeah.
Next minute,
we find out what Henry has to say.
All right. Good. Let's do that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that.
spine-tingling, nerve-shattering podcast featuring all your favorite monsters. You won't believe your ears when you listen to Monster Kid Radio. Hear your host, Derek M. Cook, and his ever-rotating stable of guests discuss your favorite classics and sometimes not-so-classic monster movies. Subscribe to Monster Kid Radio through iTunes or Stitcher, or visit monsterkidradio.net before the next weekly episode of Monster Kid Radio. Go through the archives for interviews with Sarah Karloff, Victoria Price, and Joel Hodgson. Listen to discussions about movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Island of Terror, and King Kong. And don't forget convention coverage from Monster Bash and the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival, Classic Monsters, Modern Talk, and the Head of Rondo Hatton, only on Monster Kid Radio.